Well, it's not just any Thursday today, it is in fact Super Thursday, as the Bank of England releases its August inflation report, interest rate decision and MPC meeting minutes. Talking through all this data with me today is Lee Hopley, Chief Economist with EEF. So Lee, we're seeing all of this data out for the UK today. Of course, Bank of England interest rate decision, the inflation report, MPC meeting minutes and Governor Carney's speech. It's almost an overwhelming amount of data. How have the markets reacted, and are we seeing a lot of volatility?
You're absolutely right. There was an enormous amount of intelligence all coming from the Bank of England today, as they rightly try and improve the transparency and the communication that they have with the markets and with businesses as well. I think seasoned MPC watchers would have been quickly looking at a small number of issues in today's data. The first is what was the makeup of the vote and the decision at today's meeting. Looking to the inflation report for the forecast profile for inflation going forward, and how has that changed since the last inflation report in May. And I guess finally people would have been looking at what the committee's best judgment was on the balance of risks for the UK economy going forward. And I think really in only one of those areas the markets would have been surprised, probably by seeing fewer dissenters on the MPC than had been expected. I think the reaction to that has been actually reasonably muted, and we saw an initial reaction in currency markets, so we saw a fall in the pound, but that's gained some ground actually over the last hour or so. So not too much volatility just yet.
As you've touched upon, amid low inflation, the Bank of England's policymakers voted 8-1 to lead the rate at 0.5% for the 78th consecutive month and opted not to pump more money into the economy. The near majority vote surprised investors and analysts, but what did you take away from this?
I think what we should take away from that is that we should always expect the unexpected, and the thing we didn't anticipate is that, actually, the majority of members are still looking to keep a fairly steady hand on the tiller. There is clearly some positive data coming out of the UK at the moment in terms of growth, and also notably a pickup on wage growth that we've seen, but only really over the last couple of months. But still very much some concerns about what's happening globally, and that's where some of the downside risks seem to be at the moment.
Economists say a rate hike this year looks unlikely now, with Carney saying the Bank of England will now be closely monitoring developments, including wage growth, productivity, and risks to the international environment, stressing that interest rates increases will be gradual and limited, but that the timing of the first rate hike is drawing closer. With all this speculation, where are you foreseeing an increase?
The decision by the MPC, as far as I can see, is it's always been a data-driven one, and the first increase of this particular cycle is going to be no different. The key risks being around the global economy and also the potential for a continued acceleration in wage growth. I mean, if we do see those two things starting to kind of crystallise over the next couple of months, that could well pull the decision this side of the new year. But I think, ultimately, looking at where the forecasts are at the moment, I think my money is probably still in the first quarter of next year. But I think the message to businesses looking to invest and looking for some certainty about the trajectory of monetary policy, I don't think they'll be surprised by anything that's been put out today, and that message that increases when they come will be gradual is still a very important one as far as they're concerned.
That's all from Lee, myself and Super Thursday for now. Thanks for tuning in, and remember to keep clicking back to Dukascopy TV.